The enemy wants you to stay distracted by the dirt, but God says if you dig beneath the dirt, you'll find the treasure. That's why the struggle is so heavy. That's why the warfare is so intense, because the treasure inside of you is so valuable that hell is trying to bury it under fear, under doubt, under shame, under regret. But I dare you today to start digging. Dig through the lies they told you. Dig through the pain of your past. Dig through the disappointment that tried to bury your faith. Dig through the voices that said you weren't enough. Because if you dig deep enough, you'll uncover the seed God Himself planted in your soul. Child of God, pain is the dirt the enemy uses to try to bury your destiny. Pain is heavy. Pain is messy. Pain makes you want to stop digging and just lay down in the dirt. But hear me today, pain is not the end. It's the place where God begins to reveal treasure. Some of you have been carrying wounds for years. Betrayal cut you. Abandonment marked you. Rejection scarred you. And instead of digging through the pain, you let it define you. You've been living under it when God called you to dig through it. Pain is not a prison, it's a passage. And if you dare to dig, you will find purpose buried beneath every tear. Don't you know that some of the greatest diamonds are formed under pressure? Some of the strongest gold is purified by fire. Your pain has not come to destroy you. It has come to prepare you. That heartbreak, that loss, that disappointment, it all became soil covering the treasure. And the only way to get to it is to push past how you feel and keep digging in faith. Job said, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." That's digging through the pain. Jesus in Gethsemane, sweating drops of blood, said, "Not my will, but thine be done." That's digging through the pain. Paul, beaten and locked in a jail cell, still lifted a song at midnight. That's digging through the pain. You don't get to your treasure without going through your trauma. You don't reach your destiny without walking through your difficulty. The devil wants you to quit in the middle of your pain, but God says, keep digging. Because if you dig through the pain, you'll discover the power. If you dig through the tears, you'll discover the testimony. If you dig through the sorrow, you'll discover the strength. So today, wipe your eyes, square your shoulders, pick up your shovel of faith, and dig through that pain, because what's on the other side will make the suffering worth it. Listen to me. One of the greatest traps the enemy sets for your soul is the hunger for people's approval. We spend too much time waiting for somebody else to stamp what God has already signed. Too many of us are living for likes, chasing applause, or craving recognition. But hear me, your worth is not determined by who claps for you, but by the one who created you. When God formed Adam, there was no crowd, no platform, no applause. Just God, His breath, and His word. That's all it took to validate Adam's existence. And the same God who spoke galaxies into motion has already validated you. Before you ever had a title, before you ever had achievements, before anybody even knew your name, God said, "You are mine, you are chosen, you are enough." If you live for people's approval, you'll die from their rejection. People are fickle. One moment they shout, "Hosanna," and the next moment they cry, "Crucify him." If Jesus Himself wasn't validated by the crowd, why do you think you will be? That's why you cannot base your identity on shifting voices. You must be anchored in the unshakable voice of God. The enemy will whisper, "You're not good enough. You're not talented enough. You don't have what it takes." But God says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That's validation from heaven. That means you don't have to perform to be loved. You don't have to achieve to be accepted. And you don't have to compare to be chosen. Let me tell you, when God validates you, it overrides every critic, every doubter, every hater, and every lie. His word is final. His seal cannot be broken. His approval cannot be revoked. You may be overlooked by men, but you are handpicked by God. So lift your head up, walk in confidence, stop begging for what heaven has already given you, because your validation does not come from followers, friends, or family. It comes from the one who called you, anointed you, and placed His treasure in you. And when God validates you, no man can disqualify you. Let me tell you something that will shake your soul. The same Child of God, greatness is never found on the surface. Greatness does not float in plain sight. Greatness is buried, hidden, and locked beneath layers of dirt, struggle, and delay. That's why you can't be casual about destiny. You have to dig for it. You have to excavate what God placed inside of you. Excavation is messy work. When builders want to lay a foundation, they don't tiptoe on top of the ground. They dig down. They bring in heavy machinery. They break through rock. They sweat. They labor. And they push past resistance. Why? Because the deeper they go, the stronger the foundation. And the stronger the foundation, the higher the building can rise. It's the same with you. If you want to rise in greatness, you must be willing to endure the digging season. You must be willing to allow God to pull up old roots, to expose hidden wounds, to strip away pride, insecurity, and fear. You can't build a skyscraper life on a shallow foundation. God has to dig deep before he raises you high. That's why the process feels so hard. That's why you've been under pressure, under construction, under attack. It's not because you're weak, it's because you're valuable. Greatness requires excavation, and excavation is uncomfortable. God is moving dirt, shifting things, and tearing down what doesn't belong so he can reveal what he planted within you. And listen, sometimes God will use pain as the shovel, trials as the hammer, and setbacks as the bulldozer. It feels destructive, but it's actually constructive. He's not tearing you down to destroy you. He's digging deep to build you stronger. So don't despise the digging. Don't curse the process. Don't quit while you're under construction, because the deeper the excavation, the greater the elevation. When God finishes digging, he will uncover a treasure in you that the world has never seen. And when you rise, you'll rise unshakable, unmovable, unbreakable, because your greatness was forged in the excavation. Let me break this down for you. If you've been wondering why the fight has been so intense, why the attacks have been relentless, why it feels like the pressure won't let up, it's not because you're weak. It's because hell is terrified of what heaven has placed inside of you. The enemy doesn't waste resources on empty vessels. He doesn't attack what has no value. He is after you because he knows that God has deposited something in you that will shake the very gates of hell. That's why the warfare started before you even knew who you were. That's why you've faced resistance since childhood. That's why doors seem to close in your face. Because the treasure in you is too dangerous for the kingdom of darkness. Every time you try to move forward, hell tries to push you back. Every time you lift your head, something tries to knock you down. But hear me, the fight around you is only confirmation of the deposit within you. The greater the fight, the greater the deposit. Think about it. When Jesus was born, Herod tried to kill him as a baby. Why? Because heaven had deposited salvation into his life and hell moved immediately to stop it. When Moses was born, Pharaoh ordered the killing of Hebrew boys. Why? Because heaven had deposited deliverance in Moses and hell recognized it. Don't you see? If hell is fighting you, it's because heaven has trusted you with something powerful. The enemy cannot destroy what God has placed in you, so he tries to distract you, discourage you, and delay you. He tries to bury the treasure under shame, fear, and anxiety. But let me remind you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. What heaven deposited, hell cannot delete. What God planted, the devil cannot uproot. So stop being surprised by the fight. Start using it as evidence. If you're under it, attack, it's because you're carrying something worth fighting for. If hell is after you, it's because heaven already invested in you. Lift your hands right now and declare, I must be valuable, because let me tell you something, destiny does not just drop in your lap. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't casually uncover treasure. Digging takes effort. Digging takes sweat. Digging takes perseverance. You cannot be passive about what God has placed in you. You must dig for it with everything you've got. Some of you are frustrated because you've been waiting for doors to swing open while sitting still, but faith without works is dead. You cannot pray for God to reveal the treasure in you and then refuse to pick up the shovel of discipline, the shovel of prayer, the shovel of persistence. If you want it, you've got to dig for it. Think about it. Farmers don't reap a harvest by admiring the soil. They break it, till it, water it, and plant into it. That's effort. Treasure hunters don't quit when their hands get dirty. They dig deeper because they know what they're after is worth the sweat. And in the same way, you must be willing to dig through the dirt of disappointment, through the mud of mistakes, through the rocks of rejection, because the treasure is beneath all of it. Here's the truth. The reason many never see what God has placed in them is because they stop too soon. They dig for a little while, they pray for a little while, they push for a little while, but when resistance comes, they lay the shovel down. But I came to tell you, you cannot afford to quit. You may be one more prayer, one more push, one more act of obedience away from striking the treasure God buried in your soul. Digging takes effort, yes, but it also takes endurance. You've got to keep pressing when you're tired. You've got to keep moving when you don't see results yet. You've got to keep showing up when you feel overlooked, because the digging is not wasted. Every push, every tear, every prayer is moving you closer to your breakthrough. Child of God, this is not the season to quit. This is the season to dig harder. Put your hand back on the shovel. Pick your faith back up. Get back in the fight. Because effort produces discovery. And when you finally hit the treasure, you'll look back and realize that every ounce of sweat, every late night, every lonely moment was worth it, child of God, after all that's been said. Here's the truth you must carry with you. Everything you need is already inside of you. God planted it. Heaven deposited it. The Spirit breathed it. And no amount of dirt, pain, rejection, or delay can erase it. But you cannot live shallow. You cannot keep waiting for others to validate you. You cannot sit back and hope destiny will fall into your lap. It's time to pick up your shovel of faith and start digging. Dig through the dirt. Dig through the pain. Dig through the fear, because the treasure is beneath the struggle, and your breakthrough is on the other side of your persistence. Yes, hell is fighting you, but that's only proof of how much heaven has invested in you. Yes, the process is painful, but that's because greatness requires excavation. Yes, the storm has raged against you, but your gift is incorruptible, and as long as you still have breath in your body, you still have purpose, promise, and power. So rise up, shake the dirt off, step into your season with boldness. Don't wait for tomorrow. Now is the time. Now is the time to discover, to unlock, to release what God has placed in you. The world doesn't need a shallow version of you. It needs the treasure hidden inside of you. And when you dig deep and discover it, don't you dare hide it again. Shine it, walk in it, live it, because you are carrying heaven's treasure in an earthen vessel. Somebody lift your voice and declare, I'm digging deeper and I will discover what God placed in me.